and welcome to another vinyl video. We have a great pairing this week, and this is kind of a special one because it was actually a pairing that some friends of ours suggested.
Who also follow the site and get into it. And kind of took what we do here at Vinyl for themselves and had fun with it while they were on a trip.
Yeah, well, and they're in the wine business, and they were actually in Argentina, and I got an email from them saying that they felt that the wines of Argentina, the red wines, went really well with like southern bluesy rock. So we decided that we were going to do a Malbec, which is one of the most well-known and some would say the best type of wine, that's red wine that's made in Argentina, and we decided to pair it with one of the best albums of all time.
A classic, perhaps one of the best blues roots rock records of all time, the Rolling Stones Beggars Banquet. And some of you might look at this album and say, oh, that doesn't look like the CD I have or the copy that I have. It's because this is the original 1968 London Records cover. It's just very plain, almost kind of like maybe even perhaps a response to the Beatles' White Album. It's just a plain...
It's their beige album.
It's the beige album. But it does have some very tasteful script.
Or maybe eggshell.
Yeah, it's the Ecru album.
And it actually, it is similar to the label for this Malbec, which is Gouguenheim Malbec. It's from the winery by that name, Gougeunheim, not spelled like a museum, but I'm assuming pronounced like it. And they're in Mendoza, which is probably the biggest, most well-known winemaking region in Argentina. And Malbec is definitely like the grape that you think of when you think of Argentinian wine, and it actually originated as a blending grape in Bordeaux.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
Oh, wow.
It's one of the big 5 blending grapes in Bordeaux, and then was brought over to Argentina and just really does well there. And the great thing about Malbec is you can find some that are, $8, you can find some that are $50.
And actually, this pairing is particularly apt because they emailed us. They took that trip quite a while ago, but it was summertime in Argentina.
It was.
And now it's summertime here in the States. So
because of the southern hemisphere.
Exactly. Maybe we had a good reason for waiting.
So Malbec, as this one is really dark and smoky, kind of meaty.
Deep fruit notes.
On the nose, yeah. And on the palate, you get the same, just really dark, plummy fruit, smokiness, pepperiness, just really nice and kind of dark, and which is one of the reasons it's awesome with steak. But I also definitely agree that it is great with like this bluesy, dark music of the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I mean this record right here, I think this really defines the era when the Rolling Stones went from being, hit makers who competed with the Beatles to really coming to their own. And the word that defines it most of all, I think, is swagger. This album just oozes music. It doesn't just play music. It's like a visceral, sensual, you might even say, I don't think it's unfair to say with the Rolling Stones, it's a sexual quality that just comes out of all the music. There's something dark and mischievously inappropriate about this album. Sympathy for the Devil, the famous song, it leads it off, and Street Fighting Man. And, this song, Stray Cat Blues, is all about a sexual encounter that would sort of define the Rolling Stones, kind of cheeky, album covers with zippers down the road. But it all started right here in 1968.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect match. It's the dark with the dark and the smoky, meaty with the sensual and sexual.
But not so overpowering that there's not a playful, mischievous,
there's that fruit in there.
Eye-twinkling edge to it.
Yeah. It's a great one.
Cheers, baby.
Cheers. Enjoy.